we're going to do a complete review of the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and how good it works underwater. In this video, we're going to do a complete review of the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and how good it works underwater. I mounted the camera on this floating handle, just in case I drop it in the water, it's not going to sink. You can also flip the screen up, so if you want to take selfies, works perfect. Has this nice screen, has a bunch of different settings to go through. Slow motion, obviously take a photo with it, burst photo, regular photo, video. I like this pure video setting the best. Let's go test it out. I'll be testing this camera in these beautiful waters in the Florida Keys at Key Largo. Is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 a great underwater camera? Well, let's drive down and find out. The Florida Keys is the perfect place to test an underwater camera. Only 16 miles till Key Largo. We're almost there. This is the front entrance of Pelican's Roost, the Airbnb we'll be staying at during this trip. And here it is, a nice little hidden gem. This is the front of the house, and this is the back of the house. Wait till you see the backyard. I'll do a quick 180. Here it is, a true tropical paradise. This property comes fully equipped with kayaks and paddleboards, which will be very useful in helping to test this underwater camera. To my surprise, it was very windy when we arrived and the water was extra choppy. I had to bring my dog Pongo to the end of the dock so he can get some nice sniffs of the salt water. I launched my drone to scout out some areas which would be good to stick my camera underwater. You can see right down the shoreline here, it's covered in mangroves, which is a perfect place to find wildlife. Some of the native wildlife in this area includes crocodiles, a few different types of sharks, manatees, and dolphins. The first test is murky water. I hopped out on the kayak to test this out. And to be honest, you're not going to see much on any type of camera. All the sand and silt is pushed up from the waves. A lot of light is still making its way into the lens, so I'm actually pretty impressed. Here's a nice big school of minnows. These things are absolutely everywhere down here. I pulled the kayak in and started shooting the sunset shot, which I think turned out pretty nice. So far, I must say I'm definitely impressed with this camera. I love it way more than GoPros. I woke up early the next morning, put my drone back in the air, and captured this beautiful sunrise shot. And once the sun got high in the sky, I wanted to show you guys the difference in how the water looks from yesterday to today. The water is nice and flat, and this should be the perfect environment for an underwater camera. I broke out my old US Navy rescue swimmer gear, put it on, and hopped in the water. The second test is slow motion. This slow motion by far exceeds anything you can do on an iPhone. This looks way better. Again, I'm going to say it's better than a GoPro. Here's a nice slow motion shot of my dog hopping in for a swim. After this second test, I'm still very pleased with this camera. I armed myself with a broomstick, just in case a big sea creature swam towards me, I can push it away. Alright, let's bring this bad boy underwater. It looks so awesome how the light is just punching through that water. The water here is still a little murky, but don't worry, we'll find some clear water. I began swimming to that coral island with the mangroves on it. The water is looking very clear in that direction, so hopefully we can get some nice footage and get some sea life in the camera. And while I'm swimming, we might as well do the third test, underwater audio. This camera was picking up everything. I could hear myself breathing through the snorkel, I could hear all the waves, the ripples, everything. So far, still a big fan of this camera. Here I was just looking around, a little paranoid, making sure there's no crocodiles in the area, but also hoping to see a sea turtle. I finally made it to that coral island, and I'm going to sit right here on this big chunk of coral. Let's go ahead and dip the camera in again. There's a starfish. At least we found one little sea creature so far. I left the coral island to keep swimming, and I found 2 more starfish. Then I swam over to the mangroves to see what was going on in there, and I found a bunch of fish. Let's get out of the water, get back in the kayak, and conduct the 4th test, the selfie screen. Out on the kayak. So far, haven't found anything, but let's keep looking. Found a bee floating out in the middle of the water, so bring him back to shore. All right, come on, buddy. Put him right here. All right, buddy. Get him up. Thing. Here we go. There we go. Good, bud. Operation Bee Rescue. Now let's keep searching. Here's just another random drone video of this bird diving underwater. So I kept paddling into the mangroves, and right before this video, a guy pulled up to me and said that there's a crocodile in the area. So I was a little freaked out, but it would be awesome to capture a crocodile on the underwater camera. The water was looking really clear in this area, so I thought I would paddle right into some mangroves to conduct the next test. Perfect little parking spot right here. I love the way these mangroves look. It's awesome. It looks like an aquatic jungle. And that's pretty much what it is. The 5th test is the clear water test. The footage is coming in nice and crisp, perfectly clear. The colors really pop. Still loving this camera. Here's a cool action shot of me paddling on the kayak. This is one of my favorite shots I got from the trip. Then I found this cool little hermit crab or snail, whatever that is in there. I didn't want to disturb it, so I just got a nice shot and left it alone. Then I spotted this really cool fish I wanted to get some footage of. You'll only be able to see it for a couple seconds, but it's that fish with the black and white stripes. There's a speedboat absolutely trucking it through the water over there. And just look how stunning the image on this camera is. Here's another underwater slow-mo shot. Then my Insta360 Ace Pro 2 battery was going low, so I paddled back to the dock. While I was waiting for the battery to charge, I launched my drone again and found a manatee. And I actually went back out on the kayak right after this with the underwater camera to try to get some close-up shots of this manatee, but I ended up not being able to find it when I was on the kayak. I was paddling around this area for about an hour looking everywhere for this manatee, and it was nowhere to be found. And I later found out that manatees could swim up to 20 miles per hour, which was a shock to me. Now it's time for the 6th test. Is this a good action camera? I decided to take it paddleboarding, and as you can see, it makes everything look really cool. This camera is perfect for anyone who does any kind of action sports or outdoor activity. Here's another slow-mo shot of a pelican. And a beautiful slow-mo shot of a fire during the sunset. Now on to the 7th test, low light. It was pitch black out here, and all I had to light up the water was my iPhone flashlight. And it actually did better than I thought. Imagine if you had a big dive light. And now on to my 8th and final test, photo mode. This camera is excellent at taking photos both above and underwater. I'm definitely a big fan of the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. I highly recommend it.